Welcome into Jags A.M. today, presented by Jet Home Loans. I'm Kainani Stevens. Brian Sexton and John Oehser are with me. The team is getting prepared to head to London for 2 games. It's a lot sweeter this week because they finally got their first win of the season against the Colts on Sunday. Let's start out with big things. As scheduled is big thing number 1. There is a hurricane headed this way, but things are staying on schedule as things are done around here, Brian. We know they've kind of got things down to a T with how they operate when they go to London. They're keeping schedule, practicing this week and heading out, and hoping things go their way.
Well, first and foremost, Kai, as you both know, football coaches and players are creatures of habit and routine. They don't like things to change. And so they know this London routine, this leave on Thursday, arrive on Friday morning, kind of get yourself settled, and then go right to practice before going to sleep on Friday evening. They don't want to change it. They understand the storm, the magnitude of it, but they think they can pull this one off. Obviously, John, the folks who are flying the plane over there are comfortable leaving on Thursday evening. Otherwise, I think that would change.
Yeah, they've gotten their schedule, and it's what they do. So I don't anticipate any issues, but it's a hurricane, so we'll see how it goes.
Our second big thing, back to football now. Hands off after a season in which we said the offensive line was an issue, and including the first 4 weeks of this season, the offensive line has played very well as of recent. Doug Peterson speaking after the game on Sunday about how well he thought the O-line played.
This is the second week in a row, really, that our O-line has played good as a unit. You know, and listen, I mean, it's been the same 5 guys now, right? So when I say there's continuity, keeping those 5 together, there's continuity, and they start learning to play together, and that's what you're seeing. I think these last couple of weeks you're seeing that, and it was just a great game by those guys again today.
Seeing continuity on the offensive line, playing very well. Trevor Lawrence had tons of time, John, and we saw him really excel with that added time in the pocket.
Yeah, when you're looking for ways to analyze a team, you look for stuff that's solid, right, and that you can build on. I get that they're 1-4, but I think maybe a good performance against Houston got lost a little bit in the furor of 0-4. Now this team, this offensive line has stacked 2 really good performances together in a row. They've run well all season. They've had 92 yards rushing or more in all 5 games, which they would have killed for that last year, right? So if they can get a win on Sunday, if they can stack a couple together, it feels like this offensive line might be a strength that you can count on going forward. We'll see. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, Brian, but if that's real, then there's something you can stack forward.
You know, I get that the Colts didn't have their top pass rushers, but the week before, the 2 offensive tackles kept Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, a very formidable pass rushing duo, and kept them away from the quarterback. They weren't even heard from there. They were in the witness protection program, I guess, because they got nothing. And the last 2 weeks, the Jaguars have averaged 142 yards on the ground. They've averaged 6 yards per carry, and they've had some explosive plays. A 58-yard run against the Texans, a 65-yard run against the Colts. That kind of production up front has set up everything else that they want to do. It gives Trevor play action. It gives him time in the pocket. The running game is critically important for this football team. I know everyone wants to focus on Brian Thomas, and he's tremendous. But if Tank Bigsby doesn't have a couple of big productive games in London, it's going to be hard for Brian Thomas too.
Our final big thing today going to be hold up. We talked a lot about the offense playing well on Sunday. The defense had some players like Trayvon Walker playing very well, but they did let the Colts get back into the game late in the 4th quarter. Brian, as we go forward, what are some changes or something we need to see better from the defense?
Well, listen, he hasn't played at all this year. In fact, he just got back into the building, but I think Deshaun Gibson's return, maybe for the Patriots, would give some veteran leadership to the safety position. I hate to keep banging those guys, but they're not playing very well. Antonio Johnson's made a bunch of tackles, but he's also made a bunch of mistakes. And just to be honest with you, Andre Cisco has been disappointing because when I see the Tyreek Hill, touchdown in the 4th quarter, 3rd quarter against Miami, I see Cisco taking a bad angle and chasing him down the field. Fruitlessly, obviously. And then last week, allowing Alec Pierce on that long play, too. There's Cisco taking a bad angle. He's not playing very well. So I think bringing Gibson back in, John, and then, Andy Wingard, Drew. Did I just say Andy?
Dewey.
I said combined Andrew and Dewey. Dewey Wingard back into the mix. more competition will increase the level of performance, I would hope, for that group.
Yeah, the guys back there just have to play better. Darnell Savage on Monday said it's fixable. It's usually fixable, and then you just got to fix it. So that bunch needs to turn it up just a tick. It's such a league of moments. I think it's going to be incumbent on the pass rush on Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen, to get pressure. If the secondary can take it up just a little and those guys get home, I think teams are going to score in the secondary right now. But you have to reduce it by a couple and get a couple of big plays and break serve and get the ball back to an offense that's starting to play well. That's probably their formula in London.
Forcing turnovers doesn't hurt either. Stay with us here on Jags A.M. Coming up, we'll talk a little bit about the games coming up in London and what changes we think we might see.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
At Publix, you can tackle everything from pregame prep to postgame cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds. This week at Publix, save $10 with a digital coupon when you spend $40 on select P&G products. Tackle everything from pregame prep with brands like Crest, Head & Shoulders, and Old Spice to postgame cleanup with brands like Bounty, Dawn, Tide, and Febreze. Clip your digital coupon now. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval. Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why they've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and camera control for easy access. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with Unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Jags A.M. brought to you by Fields Auto Group, Jacksonville's premier luxury auto group. Go to fieldsauto.com.
It's more like sometimes when you make a big play, your mind go blank and your instincts take over. So those opportunities come upon, like you don't know your instincts take over. So but afterwards, it come back to reality, and you get down, you see, I'm like, dang, I just scored, and you go out. I give my mom the ball, and it felt great.
This or that. This or that.
do a little this or that today. That was Tank Bigsby talking about some of those big runs that we saw from him against the Colts. Had 101 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 65-yard touchdown. He said he kind of blacks out, doesn't know what's going on, and then comes back too. John, I'm sure you can relate to that.
That's my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Me and Tank.
We love to celebrate here. We finally get to celebrate a win, and it comes at the perfect time because it's our 100th episode of Jags A.M.
That's awesome.
Woo! We made a milestone, guys. We're actually going to give away some prizes to a lucky viewer. We have a trivia question that's going to come up later in the show, and then you'll be able to enter online and get a chance at some of the gifts that we have prepared for you. I will show you one of them.
Grand prize.
This one is my personal favorite. Jags to Riches. Limited production, written by your one and only.
Very limited.
John Oehser and Pete Prisco. Where'd you find these, John?
They're in my garage in a box. So
He'll be selling them on eBay later.
I have a couple
tonight.
copies. They're the Amazon price can be upwards of about $2,000 because of a weird algorithm. They're worth about $20.
Well,
on a good day.
If you win, you might even get a personalized message in here. I'll see what I can do. I'll try to talk them into it.
I will say this. I read the book when it came out in 1997 because I had lived that 96 season like John did, and I enjoyed it.
It's fun. And the best story I can tell you about the book is Tom Coughlin couldn't wait to read the book because it was his team and there was going to be something out there, the perspective. And Pete brought it over to him and said, Tom, I got the book. Tom was like, just wanted, and Pete kept kind of taking it from him. And that's the sort of tweaking that Pete could do with Tom, and it was always fun.
Absolutely. Well, there's some other stuff in the box as well. I'll go over it a little bit later on the show. Let's get back to football for a couple of minutes. We talked about some of the good things. Let's talk about maybe some stuff we're looking at going forward that the team might adjust going forward with this or that. We talked about the offensive line. Obviously, they've had 2 great weeks. Are all of the problems fixed? Was it really a continuity issue, or is there still something going on there?
Well, I wouldn't say all the problems are fixed, but the continuity issue certainly does help, right? To have these guys, and John, we talked about it. You had these 5 guys, and they didn't play that much together in August, and you had a new center in there, and we thought that because you didn't hit that much and they didn't play together that much, that the first month of the season might be really difficult for these guys. And about the time that Doug said, 4 or 5 weeks in, they did start playing better.
Look, I don't think it's going to be an offensive line that blasts holes in the running game. I mean,
although I love watching Ezra Cleveland shove Tank in.
It's getting better at that, but it can certainly run within the context of this scheme. So they're going to give up sacks. They're going to have their moments. But what we've seen in the last couple of weeks is an offensive line that is clearly good enough to give Trevor Lawrence time. It's good enough for this offense to function. And like I said, I think this is a unit that if it plays like this, if they can get a couple in London, it can be something they can count on going forward for the last part of the season. It's hope.
If they play closer to their ceiling than their floor, then they're middle of the pack offensive line, right? Middle of the rankings if you took all 32. They're good enough, as Doug has said, to be able to get this offense going. They just all have to play together, and they have to play pretty well.
They'll face off against some good defenses. I know the Bears for certain can get after the quarterback, so we'll see how that matchup goes in London this week. As far as the running back game goes, we've seen an explosive performance out of Tank Bigsby last week, and we talked about how they're trying to split the carries, but at this point, does Tank need more carries than Travis Etienne?
Well, Tank has a much higher average. He's averaged 9.6 yards per carry the last 2 weeks as opposed to just 3.6 for Travis. And I get it. Travis is a 3-yard, 33-yard guy, so you could make the case that Travis, in order to keep up, is going to need more carries. I love the power and the explosiveness that I see from Tank. Travis doesn't really have the power. He's more explosive. I would lean. I'll tell you this. It's touches, John, right? If you look at how many receptions, right? So the last week, Travis had 12 touches and Tank had 14. And the last 2 weeks, Travis has 24 and Tank has 21. I mean, I think that's kind of where they're going to be. If it averages out over the season, they're each going to get about 50% of the touches for the running backs.
Yeah, and I want to say it's the right way, but I think what they will do offensively is strive to make sure that the running game and these touches for these guys are maximizing the opportunity, meaning I don't necessarily know that you want to turn Tank Bigsby into a 30-carry guy and have it be 3 yards a carry. He's been very effective, and they have found the right circumstances for both these guys to be running in. I think the coaches and the offensive approach would be just as happy if he continues to be really, really effective when he's running. I don't necessarily know that you have to add carries, have him be effective when he's doing it. They've talked about that in the past as, look, don't worry so much about how many yards it gets. Yeah. How effective are we when we're using these plays? And I don't think you want to take Travis off the field, because think about how important he is when Trevor's in a little bit of trouble, when they're getting that offense going early. It was getting the ball to Travis in passing situations. So
and a couple big runs.
They'll look for the balance, but I don't think they'll necessarily start easing Travis out of it. I think it's going to be a two-pronged approach.
Before he had the shoulder stinger, he had a couple of hard runs along the Jags sideline where he picked up first down. So I'll stick with it. I think about if you have a certain number of touches for the running backs, I think it's going to be almost 50-50, and that's what it should be. That'll keep Travis fresh and explosive, and it will keep Tank in the game enough to get enough carries to grind out that power game.
I think a good point. We do need both, because we did see that kind of overusage of Travis Etienne last year came back to bite them. So I think using both of them would be very helpful. Looking at the secondary, we talked a little bit about some of the issues that they had. Obviously, we've seen a lot of blown coverage, and the Colts were able to get back into the game fairly easily in the fourth quarter on Sunday. Brian, you mentioned some personnel switches you were looking at. Do they just need to execute, or should they be kind of looking at reworking what they have for players back there?
Well, listen, I think that getting a Deshaun Gibson on the field, which they could get before, if they open his window, before the Patriots game, put some pressure on Cisco, right? To know that there's this veteran guy who played in San Francisco last year on an excellent defense who could come in and challenge him. You get Dewey Wingard back, you get a guy who plays really well in the sub packages. The snaps have primarily gone to Antonio and to Cisco because they haven't had their full complement. So you're going to have to work harder to earn them to keep them. Execution's obviously a big part, but the competition level, I think, will ratchet that up.
Yeah, I think this secondary can be good enough. I think it has to eliminate the awful breakdown, which is sort of, it's always true when you talk about any NFL secondary. Most of these guys can play. It's just a matter of doing the assignments. I'm with Brian. I think when Gibson and Wingard are available, I don't know that it means you'll sub those guys out and the other two guys never play, but it will put some pressure, and they will be able to play those guys in some situations. Remember, Ryan Nielsen likes to rotate guys back there. I think you'll see that.
I had really high expectations for Andre Cisco this year. He was into a contract year. He had 4 interceptions last year, played pretty well. There's a lot of football left to be played. He can still become that. Maybe what he needs is the pressure of somebody, nipping at his heels.
Absolutely. Can't help. We love a little competition. Iron sharpens
makes
iron.
Everyone better.
Stay with us here on Jags A.M. We'll look forward ahead to that Bears game, what we expect to see in London.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Surf Pro. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they bring the same dedication and precision to restoring your property as the Jaguars do on the field. Whether it's water, fire, or storm damage, their highly trained professionals are on call 24/7 to make it like it never even happened. Surf Pro, your local leader in restoration and cleanup.
At Publix, you can tackle everything from pregame prep to postgame cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds. This week at Publix, save $10 with a digital coupon when you spend $40 on select P&G products. Tackle everything from pregame prep with brands like Crest, Head & Shoulders, and Old Spice to postgame cleanup with brands like Bounty, Dawn, Tide, and Febreze. Clip your digital coupon now. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Are you ready for some football? Well, you are now, thanks to Ticketmaster. As the official ticket marketplace of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the NFL, Ticketmaster's got the best way to take it to the house when it comes to being there live. They're the safest and most convenient marketplace to score fully verified Jaguars tickets. And even if your plans get broken up or worse, turned over, Ticketmaster gives you more flexibility to sell your seats. So get those touchdown celebrations ready and score your tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Jaguars.
Check it out, the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence and camera control for easy access. At Verizon, you can get it when you trade in any phone from one of their top brands.
Any?
Any.
Even if it's 4 years old?
Yeah.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk?
Yep.
Even if it's 4 years old and I drop it on the sidewalk, then a scooter runs it over, so now it's not just old and cracked, but shattered?
With Verizon, the answer is always yes. New and existing customers can trade in any phone from one of our top brands in any condition for the new iPhone 16 Pro with unlimited Ultimate. Trade-in terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
For 11 years, Dreamfinders Homes has been proud to call themselves the official home builder of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all of the available inventory, and go Jags.
Hey, under that first cut, get back vertical. Hey, that bounce coming. Get him to come down, explode.
They toss it to the left to Tank. He cuts it back to the middle of the field. That's good running. Tank Bigsby into the open field. 45, 40, 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Tank Bigsby has exploded for another score.
Oh, my mama. Hey, bro, I'm proud of you, bro. Boy, I feel like a proud dad, boy.
Oh, we love to see that. Travis Etienne mic'd up in that game against the Colts. Excited for his teammate. Tank Bigsby said he's a proud dad. Had a little proud dad moment.
Yeah, you can't fake that either.
You can't. That's genuine. It really is.
That's cool stuff, and they are close. And last year, when Tank was struggling, I know Travis really tried to help him through that because he'd experienced sort of the same thing.
Yeah, the year before.
Year before. So that's really cool to see.
Well, and again, we're talking about competition now. I mean, you don't think that Travis wants to have those big plays? And I mean, those two guys will play off of each other in that room as well.
Yeah, kind of like Josh and Trayvon, I feel like push each other. I feel that's a very similar relationship.
Totally agree.
100th episode here. It's where all our decorations are out. I did want to mention another item that we are giving away. Is this very specific as we head to London, the Jaguars exclusive London t-shirt. That'll be in the box along with that Jags to Riches book that I discussed earlier, and then I'll show you the final thing in the next block as I give you the trivia question.
That's a tease. That's a tease. Look at that.
That's television, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a professional. Let's talk a little bit about this game because we do want to talk football as well. This team went to London for 2 games for the first time last year. They were very successful with that, coming home 2-0. You have the opportunity to do this. You don't want to overlook any opponents, but you're looking at this saying we should go and maybe win these games, come back. And how different would the season be if they're able to go there, have success again, and come back 3-4?
Well, you could come back with an opportunity, to have a Packers team here on the final Sunday of October with a chance to get to 500, which, after the 0-4 start, more power, right? Let's have that thing go. I'll say this about the trip. It is a tough trip when you know how to do it, right? So you get a young Bears team, and they haven't been there since 2019, and that roster was entirely different. Coaching staff was entirely different. They went over early. Jaguars know how to do this thing. That's an advantage to them. And John, we learned last year that being there for the week in between, staying at the one hotel this week or this year instead of switching in between, is an advantage for them as well. I think the Jaguars have an advantage over other teams because they understand how to do the trip, and then they're there for 10 days.
Yeah, I've always kind of thought that the Jaguars play well in London when they're good, and they don't play very well when they're not good. It sort of got them going last year, but I felt like they were a good team early last season. Look, the Bears are good. The Bears believe they're good. They're 3-2, so they're hot. They did go over early. It does feel like they're still sort of trying to figure the trip out, which you should when you don't do it all the time. So it's a matchup the Jaguars can win. I wouldn't say should, but they have to play well to do it.
What are some of the things, John, when you talk about that Bears team? Obviously, they're very young. They're talented on the defensive side of the ball. They've shown flashes on offense as well. Is it a little more concerning just because they're so young, you almost don't know what you're going to get?
Well, they're still figuring it out. They're really, really good defensively when they're right. They have a lot of talent offensively. Caleb Williams is still a young quarterback. They're feeling very good about themselves because they have 2 wins. Beat the Rams and the Panthers, who aren't exactly playing that well. So the Bears, I think, still have to prove what a lot of teams do right now. Are they good? Are they beat good teams good? And that'll be a big test this week. I think the Jaguars should feel like they should win, and if they win, it'll be a good win. But it's dangerous because of what you said, Kai. Caleb Williams is starting to come into his own, but there's usually ups and downs with that quarterback who's coming into his own. The Jaguars need to get pressure on him and make him mistakes and make him look young.
Well, he can extend plays, right? I mean, I haven't seen a lot of the Bears, but what I have seen is him with great feet in the pocket and patience for a young quarterback. I'm not sure that the Bears' offensive line is sturdy enough at this point in his career. You should see Trayvon and Josh create some havoc, but you got to be careful because he's a guy who can extend that play, and just like the Daniels kid in Washington, can make a great throw on the run. We've seen him do that throughout his college career.
Important to get home when you do the pass rush,
better,
specifically
right.
in that game. All right, stay with us here on Jags A.M. I'll give you that trivia question after the break so you can enter for our 100th episode prize.
We need to define a great deal in today's new home market because the so-called great deals that you find on every corner just aren't the same as the incredible opportunities you'll find with a new Dreamfinder's home. How about 2.99% in year 1 in one of Dreamfinder's 15 communities across North Florida? Now that's a great deal. 2.99% interest rate in year 1 and a beautiful new Dreamfinder's home. Visit dfhsalesevent.com for our largest savings of the year on move-in ready homes. That's dfhsalesevent.com.
At Publix, you can tackle everything from pregame prep to postgame cleanup with prices that are never out of bounds. This week at Publix, save $10 with a digital coupon when you spend $40 on select P&G products. Tackle everything from pregame prep with brands like Crest, Head & Shoulders, and Old Spice to postgame cleanup with brands like Bounty, Dawn, Tide, and Febreze. Clip your digital coupon now. Available at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Hey Jaguars fans, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why they've built the Crown Royal Rig. An absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly.
Are you ready for a taste bud touchdown? Well, Jags fans, if you're at the bank and craving a snack that's shell-shockingly good, look no further than Luray Peanut Company's boiled peanuts. Picture this, you in the stands, cheering on your Jaguars, and in one hand, a bag of piping hot boiled peanuts. With original or Cajun to choose from, they're so delicious, you'll wonder where they've been all your life. So grab them while they're hot and get back to the game. And as always, Duval. Luray boiled peanuts, where every nut is a winner.
When disaster strikes, trust the experts at Surf Pro. As a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they bring the same dedication and precision to restoring your property as the Jaguars do on the field. Whether it's water, fire, or storm damage, their highly trained professionals are on call 24/7 to make it like it never even happened. Surf Pro, your local leader in restoration and cleanup.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
Jags fans, if you want customized Jaguars furniture for your home, check out zipchair.com to browse all the customizable options. ZipChair is furniture for fans. Welcome back into Jags A.M. It was a Victory Monday. It's a victory week, and we are celebrating our 100th episode of Jags A.M. I've been teasing it the whole block, and I am now going to give you our trivia question, which if you answer correctly, you'll be entered in, and we will pick one winner for a box of all of the things I showed today. And also, because they look so much better than the regular uniforms, get your own throwback. Freddie T. Not much better a guy to have.
Nope.
That's sweet.
It is pretty sweet. I mean, we're going to give it away, but I am jealous. I'm not going to lie. All right, let's see this trivia question for you guys because we picked it especially for you. 100th episode. How many Jaguars players have had a 100-yard rushing game in franchise history? And I'll give you a hint. Tank Bigsby just joined the club on Sunday, so that's one more. Calculate that into your answer. You can enter at jaguars.com/100th episode. It'll also be able to enter underneath the video of this, and I'm sure we'll post on Twitter and elsewhere, so you can definitely find a spot. Make sure you enter.
So what I want to know is...
Brian, do you know them all? Well, don't give away the answer, but do you know?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Here's my question to you. Is that cake going in the box and going to the winner, or are we going to get a bite of that? Because that looks really good.
Well, we do love our friends at Publix, and because we have 100th episode, I'm not going to tip this all the way over, but it says 100. Happy 100. So Publix, thank you for our cake. I'm not going to eat on TV because no one wants to see that, but I'm going to have some after the show is over.
I am too.
We love a happy Oehser.
100th episode.
We love a happy Oehser.
Go Jags.
Tell all our friends at home, be safe with this hurricane. Enjoy the game.
Do.
We will come to you again. We are not going to be here on Thursday. We'll be back with you on Monday after the Bears game from London. So enjoy this one and be safe.